Earthbound, a Japanese role-playing game about 4 kids saving the world, is about to be 30. I'm already 30. We're roughly the same age. But I've known about the game for more than 20 years, thanks to its main character, Ness, appearing in every Super Smash Bros. Game. And outside of that, the game has a cult classic status. A lot of people really adore this game. And even though it wasn't a financial success at the time, its fandom is huge now, even 30 years later. More than any curiosity about the game itself or its main character, what made me want to play it was reading about its development in Ask Iwata, a collection of writings by the former CEO of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata. What really inspired me was the way he wrote about working with Shigesato Itoi, who is the game's director, writer, and producer.
糸井重里です。あの
He wrote with such an appreciation and admiration for Itoi, not only as a creative individual, but also just as a person and as a friend. And Itoi as well, there are some writings by him about Iwata, and they were both so expressive and full of gratitude for one another that that really made me want to check out Earthbound more than the game or one element of it. It was just this love that they had for each other as friends that really, I don't know, it was inspiring, and it drew me towards this game in a way that I don't think I've played a game for a similar reason before. My name is Vinny, and this is my save file for Earthbound. My absolute favorite part of this game is the world. By that I mean the way the game looks, feels, sounds. Right from the beginning, talking to people, the dialogue is different. It's funny. This is not what you would expect from a game 30 years ago, let alone today. I knew this game's writing was special when I found myself wanting to talk to every non-playable character or NPC. Usually in role-playing games, there are the main characters who you deal with for quests and similar things, and then there are the extras or the fillers. And here in Earthbound, I never knew what anybody was going to say. There's so many funny one-liners or non-sequiturs that I really did want to talk to everybody. And that is rare, especially when I'm playing a game for 20 or 30 hours. The game's comedic tone carries over into almost every other part of the game, from creature designs to items and scenarios you find yourself in, like with a runaway jazz band who seems to always have money problems. As I reflect on my time with the game, some of my favorite parts were when I wasn't playing at all. I wasn't in control. I was going between two places, two destinations, whether that's in a spaceship, a boat, or a bus, and just kind of sitting back and watching this cutscene where you're traveling through the world, seeing places you've been, maybe some places you haven't yet, and just appreciating the sound design and the art. They could have easily got rid of these scenes and had you talk to somebody, then it fades to black, and next thing you know, you're already at your destination. In a game full of so many battles and combat situations, I really appreciated the change of pace that these scenes offered. Speaking of those battles, like many JRPGs, Earthbound also features a turn-based combat system. All that means is that you and your enemy alternate taking turns in a battle. Although there are exceptions, I don't play that many Japanese role-playing games, in part because the idea of grinding for experience points to gain a certain amount of levels to face a boss does not appeal to me. And Earthbound, kind of a hard game. There are multiple times where I was so glad that I had created a save state or used the rewind feature to get a favorable outcome, because I don't know if I would have been able to beat the game without using them. Or I probably could have beat the game, but it would have taken me a lot longer and I would have been a lot more frustrated with it overall. So these modern conveniences of rewinding the game and also using save states were definitely something that saved me a lot of time and frustration. When Nintendo brought Earthbound to the United States, they thought the game was going to be too difficult for American audiences, so they included a guide with every copy of the game. The guide is not just a list of steps, do this, then this, then this. It is a love letter to the game. It includes stock photos, newspaper articles, more information about enemies such as their health points, their weaknesses, and also really cool clay models of creatures and characters. Consulting the guide for me became a part of the fun of playing Earthbound. It helped immerse me in the world, and the maps of all the mazes, caves, and structures in the game really helped save me a lot of time. Playing the game, there were a few annoying moments when I felt like the difficulty spiked, particularly towards the end of the game. When you know you're going to be facing the final boss soon, everything's gearing towards you saving the world, but to get to that final boss, you have to grind out levels with all these overpowered minions or like these lesser enemies. That was really frustrating to me because I felt like, okay, I've done enough. I played for 20 some hours. I'm ready for the final boss, but the difficulty of these minor enemies it was annoying to me. It reminded me of watching a movie that's 30 minutes or an hour too long. There could have been some cuts along the way. That being said, I enjoyed my time with the game. I just don't think I'll be revisiting it because I don't enjoy turn-based combat. Now, a game like Earthbound with fantastic writing and world building, stripped of combat, what would that look like? It would probably look like Grim Fandango, an adventure game from 1998 that emphasizes puzzle solving rather than combat as a means of advancing the story. And like Earthbound, it also features a fantastic world full of characters that I want to spend time with.
Manuel, are you in love with her?
Love? Love is for the living, Sal. I'm only after her for one reason. She's my ticket out of here.
In Ask Iwata, Itoi writes about the troubled development of Earthbound and the change that came with Iwata's presence. He says, on a broader level, I think we were only able to turn things around like that because Iwata had replenished our sense of hope by saying, we can do this. This would be a totally different story if Itoi just listed a bunch of technical changes Iwata made to Earthbound. Instead, by citing the hope that Iwata brought to his team, this story becomes a lot more applicable to life and things outside of video game development. I'm sure there were days where people wanted to quit, especially when things started going the wrong direction. They'd been working on it for 4 years, but because they didn't quit, because they had hope, they created something that thousands of people around the world adore. When people talk about values like kindness, hope, and joy, it can be so easy to be cynical and roll your eyes and write that person off as idealistic. But when I read Iwata and Itoi talk about how what drives them in life is helping other people enjoy themselves, I really believe them. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and let me know what you think about Earthbound or anything else. Thanks.